this will change tomorrow because it always does, which is why I want to make sure I throw out a couple of honourable mentions. Firstly, for the Iconics, who are always hilarious, and Hurricane Helms. Now, Shane Helms is actually a really good wrestler too, but in that Hurricane role, the man did the stupidest stuff ever, and it's pretty damn funny. However, when I was asked, Simon, who are your favourite goofy wrestlers of all time, because of course I am a proponent of goofy wrestling for life, well, on this day, as I am shooting this video, I did come up with 12 names, and I would like to share them with you right now. Number 12, Eddie Guerrero. And the only reason Eddie Guerrero is number 12 is for the same reason we just talked about with Hurricane Helms. Sometimes you call Eddie Guerrero a goofy wrestler, and people go, I can't believe you said that about the guy. I mean it as the highest compliment. He just totally understands all aspects of professional wrestling, and the man was laugh out loud hilarious. I mean, it's been like 20 years, and people are still doing that I'm going to throw you the steel chair spot and fall on the floor to make the referee think, haha, I've got you. And if you've never seen the clip of Eddie Guerrero on the tag rope, well, you should search for it today. Eddie Guerrero is one of the best wrestlers of all time, and the reason for that is because he got every single aspect of it. Number 11, Chelsea Green. So I also wanted to get somebody newish in there because it's so easy to forget the people that are running around right now. But Chelsea Green is like the perfect employee. That sounds weird, but I'm pretty sure, as she basically talked about in the Unreal documentary, she would turn up to work and you could say, hello, Chelsea, we need to dress you up as a mushroom and then we're going to chop you up and put you in a salad. And she would go, totally cool, let me figure it out. It all comes down to whatever entertains people, and look what she is doing right now. She's in charge of the Secret Service. Even the name is utterly ridiculous. And apart from when she did win that US title, which did happen because fans love her and find her so funny, her career probably goes lose, 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 but it doesn't matter because you give her a microphone or a backstage skit a week later and she'll just be right back where she was. You also have to pay attention to her in backstage skits because there'll always be something that is a little bit ridiculous. And also, she once wore wrestling gear to the ring that had her face on it. A lot. There must have been like 42 different pictures. And listen, take Steve Austin, right? If Steve Austin had come to the ring with a picture of him in his gear, nobody would have understood. But when Chelsea does it, let's just keep it simple, man. It's goofy wrestling for life. Number 10, the Young Bucks. So I find it totally mad when people do get mad at the Young Bucks because they've essentially forgotten what they did do for pro wrestling. Because along with Colt Cabana, who we will talk about later, they went, well, maybe we don't need to make it to the so-called big leagues in order to be proper professional wrestlers and make money. And damn it, they opened the door, and my gosh, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of other wrestlers followed. Now, of course, most people do know how great they are in the ring, and of course, that's going to set off the comments. But their goofy side is what I think sets them apart, which is what they're doing right now. Ever since they lost their EVP status, not only have they come to the ring listening to Hanson, but they also actually did $20 indie meet and greets. As a professional wrestler myself, who quite literally did a $20 meet and greet a few days ago, made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. They also took bumps onto gummy bears when they were on that Forbidden Door show, which genuinely pleased me, because people got so mad. And just go and watch any BTE YouTube episode, which also relaunched this week. Surprise, surprise, it's as funny as it always was. And even their name is a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to those who criticized them early on, because people would say, the old guard, I suppose, oh man, look at those Young Bucks, as if to say they're a bunch of idiots. Matt and Nick Jackson was like, all right, we'll be the Young Bucks. Case closed. I really do think it comes down to the fact that they knew they could have great matches in the ring, so why don't we just have a barrel of laughs outside of it? It's why Okada was able to be so funny too when he did join AEW properly and saddled up with the Elite. I don't think he would have got away with some of those skits if it wasn't for the Jacksons. I absolutely love him. Number 9, Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is a really interesting case because he was essentially a really good pro wrestler who one day, I assume, stared off into the distance and thought to himself, well, this isn't really getting me anywhere, just being like a technician in the squared circle. So what if I come up with a gimmick when I don't actually care? And look where he is today. It's also totally relatable because how many times even this week have you woken up and thought to yourself, oh man, I can't be bothered. And then you go into work and you get the job done. Well, that's essentially Orange Cassidy. He's also a proper meta wrestler as well, because even though he does those little kicks, which is meant to be, oh man, now I've got to do this too, he's also doing it in order to wind up his opponent. And when his opponent tries to strike, all of a sudden Orange becomes the best flippy-dippy-doo-dah wrestler you've ever seen in your life. And I mean this, I'm thinking about it, I actually think he can do it all. Apart from promos, he can do promos, he just chooses not to do promos, and that's because he can't be bothered. You see this? It's like the Ouroboros just goes round and round. My go-to of recent times will be the match that Cassidy had against the Outrunners in Rampage back in 2024, and actually a massive shout out to the Outrunners too. But when they were doing their missed elbow spot and the way that Orange Cassidy related to it, I'll just tell you, it's a big reason he does get a mention here. I probably watch that once every 6 weeks because I just want to laugh. The older I get, the more I realise, as long as I am having a good time, who the flub cares what's actually happening on my TV screen? Orange Cassidy is an absolute legend. Number 8, Danhausen. I mean, what even is it? I don't think the Danhausen character has ever been explained, and the best example of why it works so well is some people go, no, I don't like that Danhausen. Then you inquire, have you ever actually watched this stuff? And of course they haven't. They're just reacting to social media. When they sit down, they watch about 2 matches, then go, this guy's hilarious. Danhausen has also had love from the likes of The Rock, CM Punk, and even Conan O'Brien, which is just the most ludicrous thing of all time. And his interviews are always the best, as is his ability to curse. You can go out and watch his indie run. He has come up with so many gimmicks for this, including this one time where he was going to curse somebody and they put a mirror up as if to reverse said cursed, and Danhausen, he basically had a meltdown. He did not want that in his life. His obsession with gold and money as well is just tremendous, and if you do need an up-to-date example, go and watch the video he did recently with Pepsi Phil, when he gave him a t-shirt. I mean, not even CM Punk could keep a straight face. It's too damn entertaining. I also got to wrestle him once at UPW, so I do know the terror of somebody pouring teeth into your mouth. My brand new wrestling dream is Millerhausen. We have to dare to believe this could come true. But yeah, Danhausen, in terms of a comedy character or a goofy character, or just a wrestler that understands what the business is, he's right up there. Number 7, Kevin Owens. So he is my modern day GOAT, and I actually think WWE has been worse ever since Kevin Owens did step away, because he's another guy where you can just give him any kind of storyline, any kind of script, he'll read it and go, yep, I got it, I can figure it out. He's such a 180 wrestler as well, because of course a big reason why he did have to have surgery to begin with is because he has just kicked his ass in wrestling matches since his days in the indie scene. But then you can put him in a car and tell him to cut a promo on Randy Orton, and you will be laughing out loud. Remember that whole stuff with Ezekiel or Elijah or Elias, whatever the flub he was called? That should have been the worst storyline ever. You're going to pretend to be your own brother. And who made it work? His name is Kevin Owens. His friendship back in 2016 with Chris Jericho was also laugh out loud funny. Why do you think the Festival of Friendship worked so much? It's because fans believed in these two, and then Kevin turned his back and stabbed him right in the heart. Which is also something he's done time and time again, which is also kind of funny, mostly because Kevin will never let you forget, if something has happened in the WWE sphere that he was involved in, it's always going to tie into his character. I just really think he understands what most matches or skits need. There's a clip out there that you can find right now where he applies a headlock and he just shouts, "I'm the headlock master." Somebody give him a prize. I mean, there is a reason that he was the guy chosen to face Steve Austin. That doesn't happen by accident. And I genuinely think you can pick any era, any year, and any roster. And if you put KO in it, it's gonna make that roster better. I often think he could be my 3rd favorite wrestler of all time. As I stand here today, I'm going to say that's true. Number 6, Mick Foley. I mean, halfway through what was the most successful run of his career, Mick Foley came out as Dude Love, some weird tie-dye dude that danced a lot. And did this end his career? Nope. Did it somehow make him better? Yes. And that's because Mick Foley's another guy. He understands what wrestling is, and he would have been able to pull anything off. But I really do think he's an individual who doesn't get the credit he deserves, because again, early on, he was just killing his body in order to get over, which did work because it brought him to the WWE. And when he wanted to elongate his run, well, here's some of the stuff that he started to do. He pulled a sock out of his pants. That time he accidentally terrorized Vince McMahon in the hospital. All his ridiculous segments with Edge and Christian. And that one time he got one over The Rock in a promo and did a victory lap to celebrate, which was so damn funny, The Rock laughed right in the ring. The fact he had zero ego definitely helped, but he was another dude that was just an all-round performer. And if he was on Raw, Raw was better. And if he was on SmackDown, SmackDown was better. And his win-loss record is actually pretty bad, but nobody cared about that. Because if you tuned into the show, you just wanted to see what he was gonna do. You can even see that time he had a puppet battle with Santino Marella when it was Cobra versus Sock Puppet. I think I can leave it there. Once again, there are many individuals and wrestlers who wouldn't even been able to be involved by that. And Mick Foley was a former WWE champion. The man is a legend. Number 5, Colt Cabana. So he is the GOAT in many ways, because we talked about what the Young Bucks did to independent wrestling, and before then there was Colt Cabana, who not only basically sorted out merchandise for indie wrestlers, but if you are listening to a wrestling podcast right now, and what I'm doing too, well, we should all go and meet Colt and say, thank you very much. talk about open the door, he basically turned it into a tunnel. I've actually worked on shows where he's performed as well, so I've got to see it up close, and the man is just a phenomenal worker. And yes, at the wink of an eye, he can all of a sudden add in something stupid or something dumb or something goofy. But not only does it elevate the match, but it makes everybody laugh, and afterwards they go, oh my gosh, we had a terrific time. That is the flubbing point. I'm not sure how much of this exists on the internet, but you should try and find it today. And his feud with MJF, when Colt Cabana was meant to be his terrible dad. Honestly, I could watch that thing 10 times over. It's very, very entertaining. He was also one of the guys that helped bring in this boom where all of a sudden, if you were wrestling on TV, you could make jokes in the match, and that was totally fine. I know people like to go, oh man, stupid PWG grenade spot. It goes way deeper than that, and it is a skill. And arguably, Colt Cabana is one of the best of it. Number 4, William Regal. So he very may well be the most underrated wrestler in history. And if every single person in this business treated the profession as William Regal did, I think it would be way better, because he may have been the king of this. Here's your creative script, Mr. William. Are you able to come up with something? And every single time he said, you bet your ass. Remember the time he was told that Chris Jericho was going to pee in his tea? Which rhymes so it must be true. He was able to get this over by having the silliest facial reaction I've ever seen. It's one of the reasons people still talk about it today. It was the same when he knocked out the Big Show with brass knucks but wasn't ready for this giant to fall on him. So he sat there trying to kick out, but the weight was too much. He honestly looked like a fish out of water. Once again, I'm just going to use the word, it was perfect. Nearly anything he did with Tajiri was so damn watchable too, because they had great chemistry. And William Regal has always said he looked to the comedy greats of Britain in order to figure all that stuff into his act, and my gosh, you can see it. My gosh, did it work. I mean, there's also the fact he could have a serious wrestling match too, and everybody believed him as a killer as well. So yeah, if you are trying to make it in this industry, go and study William Regal today, because there's nothing that he wouldn't do. He just always made sure he was 100% committed. Number 3, Kurt Angle. Do you really do want to talk about somebody who was an absolute goofball outside the ring, but the absolute man inside the ropes? Surely the first name that comes to your lips is the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. Because it wasn't just the fact that he was basically a great wrestler within a day as soon as he signed with WWE, it was how fast his character came along too, because he went from not being able to cut a promo to being somebody who stuck in the ring for 20 minutes, and the ratings would go up. And you know what I'm talking about too, because there was the cowboy hat. At time he accidentally made a word faux pas when speaking about boys. Basically everything he did in the build-up to the Shawn Michaels match, the 3 eyes nonsense, when and where he chose to cower in fear, and everything he did with Edge and Christian. I mean, those 3 together. Go and YouTube a compilation of their skits right now and just laugh out loud. I mean, it's just crazy how quickly Kurt Angle realized, wait a minute, I am superb in the ring, which probably means I can be an absolute moron outside of it. That's exactly what he did time and time again. He was essentially a walking Looney Tune, and if all of a sudden somebody booked me to teach goofy wrestling to people, which would be a very strange seminar, Kurt Angle would be my first go-to, because again, there's nothing he could not do. Number 2, R-Truth. So imagine this, my friends. All of a sudden, I introduce an idea to you that is not going to work with the current audience. And it's going to go on and on and on and on, and yet actually at the end of the day be considered a success due to one man. I am, of course, talking about the 24/7 title, and I am talking about R-Truth. Can you imagine if he had been injured or not with the WWE when that thing was going on? We would be looking at it very differently. But even now, some people are like, oh man, that was the worst time ever. But not when R-Truth was around. Like everything he did with Carmella, and the fact he didn't trust anyone, and the fact that he turned it into the most important prop in his entire life. I mean, he even stood in the ring with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar and took shots at them at the 24/7 championship. He's just been a funny laugh out loud dude for years, and I absolutely love him. And the real criticism I have at the moment is I was excited for serious Ron Killings mixed with silly R-Truth. For some reason, WWE threw it away. You know this is true though, because again, you don't get released from WWE and then rehired because there is such an outpouring of, excuse me, why did you do that? And really it all started that one time he came out thinking he was in the Money in the Bank match, only to be told, you're not even in it. And then with the best comic time, he just went, oh, my bad, and he walked off. Now actually, sometimes WWE overbooked him in those spots, but R-Truth is so good, so funny, so entertaining, and just completely understands the role he was given. He hit a home run every time. You want to talk about wrestlers I consider on my all-time list, R-Truth is right up there, because why do I watch this stupid stuff? To be entertained, and that man, Ron Killings, R-Truth, has never done anything but that. He's a flippin' living legend. Number 1, Santino Marella. So I thought for a while how best to represent the fact that Santino Marella is the ultimate goofy wrestler for life. Then I thought I'm just going to pull up a list of names or list of mispronunciations that Santino called wrestlers over the years. There was John Cena, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, the Manimal, Baptista, Rodney the Piper, Cold Stone Steve Austin, Drew McIntosh, and of course, one of my favorites, the Honky Tonk Man. Now, a lot of that sounds terrible coming from me, but that is the wonder of Santino Marella. He was just a funny dude who could make you laugh. I mean, even his ring walk, when he wiggled his hips, was funny. And even when he won a match, he would do that victory lap around the ring and pretend to play a fake trombone. And of course, he had the Cobra. All of this on paper sounds absolutely terrible, but even when I watch it now, my gosh, it makes me laugh. And then I get mad, because he should have been the guy to beat the Honky Tonky Man's record, and then WWE just threw that away. But go back and look at these things. The 2011 Royal Rumble, where people were desperate for Santino Marella to win, or that Elimination Chamber when it was him and Daniel Bryan at the end. The crowd actually think he can do it, and again, it all comes down to how damn entertaining he is, which is why I don't understand when people go, oh man, wrestlers shouldn't be goofy. Oh yeah? Well, it worked for Santino, and I tell you this, if he had won that Royal Rumble, he had won the Elimination Chamber, on that night it would have been considered a moment just because this dude went out there and busted his ass in a very specific way to make sure he was damn hilarious. I'm pretty sure he was successful at that every single time. And yes, I have to say now, not all of this has aged very well, but we'll just push that to one side. But I like goofy wrestlers, and Santino was a goofy wrestler. And given that he was doing this, 20 years ago, and it still continues today, well, I think it proves my point, my friends. Goofy wrestling is for life. And there'll be names I have forgotten, and I hate myself. What are you gonna do? Like the video, share the video, subscribe, comment, hit the video on the screen. I'll see you soon.